More and more prospective home buyers are searching for homes online. We'll tell you what they're looking for on your property listing. Plus, heating a room on only 10 cents a day. We'll look at a new product that claims to do just that. Keep it right here. Your real estate news starts now. Thank you for watching the Real Estate News. I'm your host, Stacey Hansen. Let's look at your headlines. New single-family home sales fell to a near one-year low in September. The U.S. Commerce Department reports that sales dropped 11.5% to the lowest level they've seen since November of last year. New home sales in the Midwest specifically fell by 8.3%. The good news is that the drop is likely to be temporary. September data on existing home sales, housing starts, and builder confidence have all been looking fairly strong this year. In fact, the National Association of Home Builders Index indicates that builder confidence rose in June and continues to be quite high. NAHB's president says that the builders' positive feelings about the market are proof that single-family housing market is making a lasting gain as more serious buyers come forward. More and more prospective home buyers are searching the internet for available homes on their own. A new survey shows that 40% of buyers looked for properties online in 2014, according to the National Association of Realtors report. Those who use the internet to search homes tended to visit more homes and search longer, an average of 10 homes in 10 weeks compared to the 4 homes in 4 weeks of those who did not search online. Even though buyers are doing more of the searching on their own, the real estate agent is certainly not out of the picture. Last year, 88% of buyers purchased their home with the help of a real estate agent. When listing a home online, the NAR found that potential buyers most like to see virtual tours, photos, and a listing of home features on the website. Well, the new product claims it can heat a room for only 10 cents a day using tea light candles. The igloo consists of a base to place the tea light on, a metal grill, and 2 terracotta domes. The domes are placed on top and are said to capture and concentrate the heat from the candle's flame. The heat then radiates out to the rest of the room. According to the igloo website, each device heats up a room by 1 to 3 degrees. The cost for each device ranges in price from $60 to $100, and you'd probably need a few of them for our cold Wisconsin winters. Stay tuned, we'll have more coming up right after this. Welcome back to the Real Estate News. With me now is Kirsten Goggin from Century 21. Welcome back, Kirsten. We missed you last week.
Thanks. You know, I am happy to be back to work, but I still can't even believe I did this, but I was swimming with lemon sharks. Here I am petting a lemon shark, and then tiger sharks as well. Crazy, awesome experience.
Wow.
Tiger Beach in the Bahamas, but it's good to be back because it is busy, busy, busy.
Wow, that sounds amazing, and you seem to still be intact, no shark bites.
I still have all my limbs. We're good.
That's good to know. I'm sure it was a paradise. So you've got a new property. Can you tell me about that?
Absolutely. So this one I am incredibly excited about. Just listed. It is 4313 Grosbeak Glen, and this is in the town of Windsor. So we have those low town of Windsor taxes, DeForest School District. And this is especially rare little gem because it's just under a half acre. But the thing that's so cool about it is it's on a quiet cul-de-sac, and then it also backs up to green space, and there's a pond. They're currently developing it right now. So it's kind of an empty field, but it's going to be this beautifully maintained green space and pond, and no neighbors to the back, and nice quiet front area. For families would make sense because it does have 6 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms, and it's just shy of 3,800 square feet. So it is a newer home, great shape. Everything has been upgraded or is a standard upgrade feature, like the hickory flooring is gorgeous. There's cherry cabinetry in the kitchen. There's granite not only in the kitchen, but all of the bathrooms. There's tile flooring. No detail was left unaddressed or upgraded. Tray ceilings, vaulted ceilings. Master's huge with a walk-in closet, double sinks, jetted soaking tub, separate shower. I mean, I could probably go on and on and on about this property, but it's gonna go quickly, I believe. So make sure you get in touch with me to get a showing or get a hold of your buyer's agent to get through there before it's gone. Listed at $399,900.
That sounds great. Now you also offer an app for a buyer to search the MLS, right?
Yes, home scouting report. And this is pretty huge. I know that a lot of buyers out there can go on the MLS, and there's a few big names for kind of similar thing where you get your password protected account or whatever, and you log in and can look at all the properties in the MLS. But what's special about this app is we don't sell your information. So when you go on and look at those other sites, then your information gets sold and you get a million phone calls from a bunch of different realtors and a bunch of different lenders. But even more importantly than that is the accuracy. It's the only direct MLS access secondary site. So I've been told by buyers that they get informed a full day or more sooner about a new property or a price reduction. And when it's a hot property and it's listed right, that can make all the difference. It could be gone before you even hear about it if you're not either getting listings directly from an agent or have a direct MLS access site like this one. So Home Scouting Report. Go right to your app store on your Android or your iPhone, and you will need a VIP code, which is 2121. Make sure you put your email and phone number. Again, we don't sell that, but Nissa might be getting in touch with you with Fairway just to see if you have any questions and talk to you about your price range, make sure you're pre-approved. And then I, of course, can follow up and help you get into those properties that you're wanting to see.
That sounds like a great app to start using right away. Well, thanks so much. It was wonderful as always to talk to you today, Kirsten.
Thank you.
And stay tuned. We'll have more coming up right after this. Welcome back to the Real Estate News. Our next guest is Jerry Warmus. Welcome, Jerry. Nice to have you here.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So I wanted to get your thoughts on interest rates. How much emphasis should buyers really put on rates considering, when they're buying a home?
Typically what we find is as interest rates go up and down, it's more of an affordability and how comfortable the borrower feels with the payment. So we typically try to get them into the interest rate that is comfortable within the market to be competitive with what is out there. We also keep very close watch on what they're earning, what their monthly payments are, kind of the outflow. If they're comfortable with it, we tend to go with that type of a scenario. And then the interest rate is just a kind of an indication of where the market is.
Sounds good. So when's the best time to talk to a mortgage lender?
From a mortgage lender standpoint, the sooner the better. We partner with the real estate group and the community out there. And what we find is that if you get in earlier to see a mortgage lender, they can give you ideas of how much home you can afford, what's the price range you should be looking at. They'll also go over things such as what kind of insurance are you going to need, what the whole process looks like, and they'll team you up with a real estate professional that in the end together will help you get the dream of your life.
Now, no buyer really wants to slow down the buying process, but is there anything that they could inadvertently do that might cause that?
There are several things that we encourage people to not do during the process of applying for a loan. Number one is to go out and take on any additional debt. We've had individuals that will apply for the loan. We get a picture, a financial picture of where they are today. And what ends up happening is then they go out and buy a car. That car payment then is utilized in the underwriting of the loan and sometimes will put them outside the reach of that home. So we encourage people not to really change their financial picture. We've had individuals also go out the day before or 2 days before the loan is ready to be closed and purchase all the furnishing for their home, trying to get a head start on it. Those types of debts, while at one time were not really looked at, in today's financial picture, are concerning to us, and therefore we address them prior to closing, and that also can help. The one last thing I would say is that as you are being as you're being guided through this process, please, as you are responding to any inquiries, do it to the speed that you would like to have that individual respond to you. So the faster you get back to the lender, the faster you get back with the information requested, the faster the loan will move along.
Great tips. Now, owning a home it's a big financial commitment. What would you say are the advantages to owning a home versus renting?
The number one advantage from my standpoint would be is that you have now a piece or an asset. You have a piece of property, you have an asset within your portfolio that people usually take a lot of pride in. It's still the American dream, and therefore as you own this home, you acquire equity, it grows. You have different options and availability to you. You put your pride into it. It's a show-off piece too. A lot of people like, this is my house. that still has a big impact on how people are looked at and viewed in the financial markets.
That's definitely true. Now, one last question. Should people consider a 15-year fixed loan over a 30-year fixed loan? That
is personal preference. Depending on what your equity accumulation goal would be. For instance, on a 15-year, more of your payment goes to pay off your principal than on the interest. So you will pay less interest over term. On a 30-year, you will pay more interest over the term. However, if you can afford a 15-year, take out a 15-year, your equity advances. If today you're just looking at, I would like to get into this home, be comfortable with the payment, the 30-year will allow that payment to be more palatable to your individual finances. So when you're looking at 15-30, and you can switch during the term, there is no prepayment penalty on programs out there today. So therefore, if you start out with a 30-year and all of a sudden you get increases in your pay, certain situations on your financial side change, you can then switch over to a 15-year and pay it off early. You will also see that opportunity to make additional principal payments on your 30-year loan that will also reduce your overall term.
Great information, Jerry. Thanks for stopping by.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for the time.
Absolutely. And you stay tuned. We'll have more coming up right after this. Welcome back to the Real Estate News. With me now is Diane Holmes. She's a realtor at RE/MAX Preferred and one of our news partners. Welcome back, Diane. Great to have you here again.
Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate you having me back.
Absolutely.
So for the people who don't know me, I'm Diane Holmes with RE/MAX, as Stacy said, and I've been selling real estate for 25 years. I work with buyers and sellers, and I've sold over 1,000 homes. And during the last segment, we talked about how to buy a home, and I thought during this segment, we'd talk about how to get your home sold.
That's a great idea. So if you are thinking about it, where do you even begin?
Well, of course, the first step is to call your realtor. So that we can get together and discuss your plans and the timing. The timing is crucial, depending if you're going to be purchasing another home or if you're going to be relocating out of the area. I would determine a price at that time by preparing a market study on your home, which compares all the features of your current home with the other homes that have sold in your neighborhood recently, usually within the past 6 months. Then also I prepare a net sheet, which is important to you to find out what you will receive in the form of a check at closing. And so I get all of your seller's costs, which includes the commission and title work and your current mortgage on the home, and I'll let you know what to expect approximately at the time of closing.
Okay, so that's very good information, but what if your home needs some repairs before you put on the market?
Yeah, and right. So the next thing we do is prepare your home for sale. I set up a free pre-listing home inspection, and if necessary, I coordinate the contractor, the painters, a stager, and we get your home in the best possible condition that we can. Not only just to get the best price, of course, but also so there's no surprises when a buyer brings their inspector through later on. Next, I order the photographer, the videographer. I put your home on the MLS listing service, which has over 1,300 realtors, and they can match up that listing with any buyers that they may be working with at the time. Also, it goes on over 900 websites, and we can even advertise your home here on the CW channel.
That's great.
Right, then the showings start, and always with your knowledge and permission.
So what happens once you get an offer? Everything's gone well, then what happens?
Well, right, so then we get the offer, and you have the right to accept it, reject it, or counter it. And normally we go through all the terms of the offer, and we usually end up countering the offer. And then we come to terms where it's acceptable to both parties. And at that point, I monitor the contingencies, get you through the inspection, which should go very smoothly. And I set up the closing, I set up the title work for you, and we meet at the closing company to surrender your keys of your old home, and you receive the check at closing.
Very exciting. So I have to ask you, what's the best time of year to sell?
Oh, that's a really good question. So normally for a seller, it's March, April, and May are traditionally the very best months to sell. The sellers get the highest price. But if you do need to sell during the winter time, just be aware that there's a lot of companies who have relocation during that period, and there are some sales that take place. Generally, the higher dollar homes will sell over the winter.
Well, thanks so much, Diana. It was great to see you again.
Oh, you too, Stacy. Thank you so much.
Sure, and you stay tuned. We'll have more coming up right after this. Welcome back to the Real Estate News. With me now is Hannah Kimyon. She's the Marketing Director at Madison Property Management. Welcome, Hannah. So nice to have you here.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So tell us about Madison Property Management.
Well, Madison Property Management is a full-service management company. We're pretty well known for managing over 3,500 rental properties in and around Dane County, but we also do manage commercial properties, we manage condominium associations, and we also deal in real estate sales, so we're kind of all over the map when it comes to real estate.
And this is third-party property management. What does that entail exactly?
So third-party property management, especially from a rental standpoint, basically means that we act as the landlord on behalf of the property owner. So we're dealing with the residents and the property owner, and we're kind of the liaison between the two.
So why are so many property owners choosing third-party fee management versus just self-managing their properties?
Well, basically, we take the headache out of managing properties for these owners. So a lot of times people will own real estate and they want to have residents, but they don't have time to manage them on their own. And we basically act as the landlord on their behalf. So we're the liaison between the residents of a rental property and the owner.
So is this just for large apartment complexes, or can other owners benefit from this?
Not at all just for large apartment complexes. While we do see that for large apartment complexes, managing it can be a full-time job, definitely there's a benefit for smaller ones as well, because a lot of times it's hard to get noticed in a market like this where there's so many rental properties.
So what if an owner is interested in fee management, but they still want to keep some level of involvement with their properties? What would you recommend then?
Well, we actually work with all of our owners so that they can be as involved as they'd like. Each owner has a property manager on our staff that sits and talks with them about their goals for the property, as well as facilitates communication with the residents if that's something the owner is interested in.
So why choose your company over another one out there?
Well, Madison Property Management has actually been around since 1988. We're very involved in the community because that's where we're from. We're really passionate about it. And we also just kind of provide the opportunity to be a part of a larger network that people recognize, so it's easier for your property to be found.
Well, thanks so much, Hannah. It was so nice to have you stop by today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And you stay tuned. We'll have more coming up right after this. Welcome back to the Real Estate News. With me now is Rob Grether from Lake Point Realty. Welcome, Rob. Nice to have you here.
Nice to be here.
So are you enjoying the fall weather this time of year?
It's a great time of the year. I was born in October, just had a birthday, so it's always an exciting time of the year for me.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful time of the year. So I wanted to kind of tie this into the real estate market. Does the real estate market have seasons too, just like we do here in Wisconsin?
Yeah, it does, very much so. Being from Wisconsin, you recognize, or I'm from Wisconsin, so I recognize the change of the seasons as everyone else does. Spring, summer is very exciting. The change of the season, everything's growing. Fall starts to slow down a little bit, and then winter is time for some other things. But yeah, the real estate market is very seasonal in that regard as well.
So are fall and winter still good times to sell a home?
Yeah, there's a definite change in the inventory, change in the buyers and sellers that are out there. But I think that there's some great opportunities from both sides, the buyers and the seller side, to be involved in transactions in the fall and the winter.
So what are some advantages to buying and selling in the fall and winter, would you say?
Well, as a seller, there's oftentimes fewer houses on the market, so the inventory is a little bit less. So there's still a buyer's side to that, and there's still people who want to buy homes. So if you have your house out there, you will definitely get noticed pretty directly. As a buyer, there's a little bit less competition. So I think that you can find some houses that are going to be value priced that otherwise might see some competition in the spring and the summer.
Do you work with a lot of first-time buyers yourself?
Yeah, I love working with first-time buyers. The wintertime for a first-time buyer is great because most people don't, as a first-time buyer, you don't have a house to sell. You're kind of the one who's out there, looking to buy. There's some programs that are for first-time buyers that replenish their money oftentimes in the winter or, late winter just before spring. And there's some really good programs out there to take advantage of as a first-time buyer.
Just a couple seconds left. Are there any educational opportunities out there for people that want to learn more?
Definitely. Aside from the fact that I feel like I can help guide people through the process, there are also some educational opportunities to meet with some lenders that will do some program explanation. There's also some down payment assistance programs that first-time buyers can take advantage of, like I said before, and I can help people get into those classes and really help guide them through the first-time buyers programs as well.
Well, great information, Rob. Thanks so much for stopping by today. And
Thanks
you
for
stay
having me.
tuned. We'll have more coming up right after this. From all of us here, I want to thank our guests for stopping by and all of you for tuning in to your real estate news. I'm Stacy Hansen. We'll see you next time.